Think or die. You know
2001.
what's up. If I had the green and all the fancy things, would my life be peaches and cream? If I had the gift to give the world a lift, would they all come following me? If I had to bone something twice as grown with an hourglass shaped honey. If I was in trouble and I needed some help, I wonder who would come rescuing me. If I had long money like Master P, with no limit, I'd be spending it so fast and free. Getting paper on a daily basis, getting my squares. If there's $1 to be made, then best believe that I'm there. Be more content with the fact that we righteous and black. We motivate to keep the faith, but they gon' sense us for that. Another level for the devil is to keep you in red. And these small-minded sisters trying to mess with our head. Jungle fever make believers out of white sheets. They used to rape us, always hate us, feed us pig feet. But now we making moves that bring us right back. Slavery's gone, so won't you tell me where your heart's at? If I had the green and all the fancy things, would my life be peaches and cream? If I had the gift to give the world a lift, would they all come following me? If I had to bone something twice as grown with an hourglass shaped honey. If I was in trouble and I needed some help, I wonder who would come rescuing me. If I took a trip to the motherland, riding camels in the sand, thinking of a master plan, and understand God's gift to earth wasn't meant to keep us bent and keep our hands in a purse. Brothers making them ends so they can buy a new Benz, and when they money start increasing, they run out on their friends. I never understood that, that's why I do with this rap, so I can talk about the shit that I be thinking is whack. And if you're thinking all your hating gon' be holding us back, I got a little something for you, you can add it with that. It's called positive thinking. While you drinking and sinking, you'll be chilling in the corner while your shorty be winking, trying to cover her eyes from looking at other guys. But if a shorty hit you off, then you be all in the thighs. Smooth telling the lies and that's it. Don't wanna hit the movies cause you already done hit. Ain't that about a bit? Had the green and all the fancy things, would my life be peaches and cream? If I had a gift to give the world a lift, would they all come following me? If I had to bone something twice as grown with an hourglass shaped honey. If I was in trouble and I needed some help, I wonder who would come rescuing me. If I keep it real while you faking it, dude, while you lamping, food stamping, smooth cramping the mood, telling brothers you know that you pimp that hoe, but your homie tipped me off that you be saving them. No, you wanna make it like the Jeffersons, moving on up, taking some stuff, but every time you do you get stuck. Took a chance in your girlfriend's car, rode around with a honey that you met at the bar. Uninvited to an after party at your homeboy's partner's house and got yourself knocked out. And what's it all about when you presented that? Made a wrong move, now you wishing that you had your gat. It's either him or me. Champagne, Hennessy, had to beat him down cause he hollered at my lady. A brother tried to play me, ain't having that. What's a bro to do when a brother try to take your scratch? Lame on his back, had to catch him slipping. Slam dunk the punk like if I was Scottie Pippen. And if I had a choice to lift my voice for the people, and if they ain't listening, I guess I had to write a sequel. If I had the green and all the fancy things, would my life be peaches and cream? If I had the gift to give the world a lift, would they all come following me? If I had to bone something twice as grown with an hourglass shaped honey. If I was in trouble and I needed some help, I wonder who would come rescuing me. If I had the green and all the fancy things, would my life be peaches and cream? If I had the gift to give the world a lift, would they all come following me? If I had to bone something twice as grown with an hourglass shaped honey. If I was in trouble and I needed some help, I wonder who would come rescuing me.